I built this AI system that automatically publishes and creates those viral Yeti vlog YouTube videos. It also works for TikTok as well. In this video, we're just going to go through a YouTube version, but you could also auto-publish this to TikTok. So if we go through a few YouTube channels here, as you can see, this one, 91K, 11 days ago. This one as well, 96K, 100K, 1.3 million, 700,000, 1.4 million, 800,000. This one's a Yeti. And as you can see, this join button right here means the channel's monetized. So he's monetizing through YouTube ad revenue. And this has only been going on for like 3 weeks, right? And I'll just play this right now so you can hear this section.
And you're buying the merch too. That's crazy. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So as you can see here, this guy is monetizing through a merch store. So, and listen to this one as well.
Be seeing any more monsters for a little while. Hey, buddy. Big shout out to Cheryl Greenway for becoming a member of the channel. If you want to support the vlogs and get your name shouted out in the forest like this, there's a join button on the YouTube channel now.
Right? So if you click join here on this guy's channel, 15 Canadian dollars a month. So people are paying, right? People are buying this. And this is completely 100%. Well, they're not doing it AI automated. These are like manually made. But this guy in particular, as you can see, 1 minute long videos. This is what we're going to go through in this video to completely automate the whole story, the title, the description, and everything. So right now, I'll show you an example of what this automated system made. So I just made this new YouTube channel just to test it. And these videos were automatically uploaded to this channel from that workflow. And they're just set to unlisted. I haven't actually published them. But let's watch that example made by the workflow now.
Hey everyone, it's your boy Bigfoot, back in the deep woods for another adventure. Heard some interesting sounds out here today. Whoa! Did you hear that? That's definitely a wolf. There it is. Look at that beautiful creature. Whoa. Easy there, friend. I'm not here to hurt you. Just want to share some food. That's it. Take your time. I know I'm probably the biggest thing you've ever seen. Would you look at that? We're actually friends now, aren't we, buddy? Go get it. You're faster than me, that's for sure. Well, buddy, I've got to head home, but I'll never forget today. Who knew I'd make such an amazing friend out here?
One click. That took one click. One click, wrote the script, right? You can also, I'll show you how to set this up as a scheduled trigger so it just goes off every day. Writes the story, creates the video, combines all the clips together, automatically posts it to YouTube. Now, the video model we're using, if you don't already know, is VO3. They've just released VO3 Fast, which is cheaper. And I'm going to show you an API that we can use that will make the price of each video only around $3 to $4. And they used to be like, it used to cost like $50 a few days ago per video. So that's really, really good. You can also make manual videos if you just go to Google Flow. You can sign up for a free trial. I also want to show you one more thing before we get into the tutorial, which I've made.
New merch out now, guys.
I haven't seen anyone do that yet. I haven't seen anyone do that. So I'll show you that at the end of the video. If you stick to the end, I'll show you how I did that. I made him actually wear the merch from the store. So you can see how this can be monetized, even just outside of ad revenue. And yeah, this is just insane because I really think that this is the future of content. And if you're here now and learning this now, you are extremely lucky to know about this because things are just going to get crazier from here. So let's get into the tutorial. All right, let's quickly go over what you need and any costs for this entire process, okay? So one thing I want to mention as well is before when I said $3 per video, I'm talking about the entire video. VO3 is made up of 8-second clips, but it only costs $3 for the entire 1-second video, or 1-minute video, sorry, which is made up of 8-second clips to become 1 minute long. Okay? Another thing is you'll need to use ChatGPT a little bit, as well as n8n. If you haven't used n8n before, I have a beginner guide on my channel, so you can go check that out to kind of learn how this works. Or you can just follow along. I'll do my best to make it easy. And then the only other cost is, the $3 Create Video API, which we'll go over later. And that's pretty much it. The combined clips, this is extremely cheap, like not even a cent. So yeah. For ChatGPT, what you'll need ChatGPT for is let's say you need this. If you're on Windows, you can search snipping tool. Once you're in snipping tool, if you click new, just drag over that. I hope that picked up on OBS, but you just click new and you can drag over the section you want. Then you can click edit, copy, go to ChatGPT, click Control V, give me this JSON, enter. And it's going to give you the JSON from the screenshot or the JavaScript, whatever it is. There are a few times in this video where you will need to use this, right? So that's all done. And then you just got to click copy. And then as you're setting this up, you just come in here, click Control V, and you have everything that I have. Okay? So let's get into this. So we're going to go through this in sections to keep things simple, and we're going to build it from scratch. So first, we'll go through the write story section. So if we go into this, just so you can kind of see how this works, once we activate this node, it has this system prompt, which is essentially what the agent is going to read before it gives us our output. So we'll go through this after, but essentially, this took me a long time to get right as well. It's going to plan out a story, make sure the prompts are right, and then it's going to make the story make sense and end before the end of the video. Okay? So as you can see here, this one was about a forest fire. And it'll go through the whole story. By 6 or 7, the story will be done. 8 will be the outro. Number 1 is the intro. You can also, so for the prompt here, this is just the kind of story that you want. So you can also just say generate a story, and it will just make a random story. But you can also ask it for a specific story that you want. So I said generate a story of a forest fire. If you don't already know how AI agents work in n8n, essentially, it's kind of like ChatGPT. This system message is its personality, how it should act. The prompt is just the usual prompt. And then down here, the chat model is if it's ChatGPT, if it's Google, if it's Claude, all the different chat models. So I'm using Claude here. And then we'll go through this as we build it from scratch. So let's get started. The outputs of the agent are just a series of prompts that are going to be fed into the video generator. Okay? So come up here to the plus and just type manual trigger. We'll use a manual one to keep things easy. And then click this little plus, search AI agent. I'm going to name mine story writer. We're not using the chat trigger node, so just change this to define below. That will allow us to control the prompt in other ways. And now that's all connected. You're also going to want to add the system message. This is the personality, how we train it. And in order for this to work, we're going to have to add the chat model, okay? So I'm using Anthropic because I just like the way it writes the stories. Anthropic is also just Claude, basically. Claude 4 Sonnet is the model. If you haven't set this up before, you can check out my beginner guide on my channel if you're completely new. If you're not new, you've probably done something like this before. I'll leave this link in the description. This is the Anthropic console where you'll get your API key in order to connect it to n8n. So once you're here on the left, once you've made your account, logged in, whatever, on the left, API keys. API keys, you can click create key. Just name it whatever. It's going to give you a key that you can copy, bring back into n8n when you click create new credential, put it right here, save, and you should be good to go. Just please note that you do need to add like $5 on here so that, yeah, I added $5 so that you can use it. I've run it like probably 40, 50 times and it's only costing me like less than $1. So once that's all set up, you're also going to want to add the think tool. Okay? The think tool is important because the way the model works is it takes your prompt and then it gives the response, right? But the think tool allows it to take your prompt, essentially give a response for itself based on your prompt, and then use that as well when building the rest of its final response. Okay? So that's important because in this example, I unpinned the data so I can't see it anymore. The last generation. But essentially what happened was it was like, okay, I need to write a story. Since there's 8 sections, first it said 1, Bigfoot wakes up in the forest. Then 2, he goes to the dog, whatever. That was the thinking. And then it took that story structure and generated each prompt for the video model after that. Instead of just going, okay, it should be this. All you need to know is it just makes it easier for the AI agent to give you the ideal response. Okay? Now, let's go into our story agent. Okay? So everything is the same here. This is the system message, which you'll need to use ChatGPT to copy. So you can just take a screenshot of that. And then I will scroll down so you can take a screenshot of the rest. Okay? Just copy everything here. And what this is going to do is it's going to make sure that the output format is in JSON so that each scene is in a separate container, essentially, that we can use later on in the workflow. Okay? So I'm going to copy this. Again, just use ChatGPT, screenshot it, and it will give you that text. Okay? We're going to paste that into our story writer in the system message. You can change this to an expression if you want to open it up bigger. And then we're just going to go Control V. Okay? So now that's in there. For the prompt, I'm just going to say, write a story about a wolf. But you can also just put write a story and it will come up with one for you. All right, so now that that's connected, we're also going to need this output parser, okay? So the output parser, what this is doing is it's making sure that the output isn't just one big block of text. So I'll show you that right now if we execute this without that. So here's our output. As you can see, it's only one container. I'll just call this a container. It's separated it between the scenes, but it's only one. Like you can't put this into 8 different sections throughout the workflow as you drag in context, right? So what we need to do is we need to add the output parser so that the structure is proper, okay? So inside of your agent, you're going to turn this on right here, require a specific output format. Turn that on, and then come to output parser and click structured output parser. All right. Now, as you can see from this one, we're using define using JSON schema. Okay. And then for this, we actually also need to turn on autofix as well. So it'll figure out where to actually put the data. Okay. And we can use the model, the same model as Anthropic. So let's just connect that. There we go. It's going to use the same model now. And for the input schema, open this up. So this is going to separate each scene as well as the title of the video and the description, which is also being generated as well. So yeah, I'll let you screenshot this for ChatGPT. Okay. And then we can copy that and paste that right in here. All right. So what that's going to do is it's going to take the output and structure it properly so that we can use it later on in an organized manner, right? So now let's activate this and check our output. Okay, so here's our output. As you can see, now it's scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. We've got the title, we've got the description, and everything is organized as we need it. Now, for the final node of this section, it is a code node. Don't be overwhelmed because all you have to do is paste this in here, right? But essentially what this is this is JavaScript, so it's a more complex type of code essentially. And what this does is, by the way, I asked ChatGPT for this. I didn't write this. I just asked ChatGPT. Okay? So what that's going to do is it's going to take all of these scenes and turn it into 8 items. So in n8n, between these nodes are items. So as you can see, when we clicked execute workflow, 1 item, and then it activates this. But if this was 8 items, then it would activate this 8 times, right? And then 8 items would come out the other side. But we only need 1 item for that scenario. But because we have 8 clips, we need 8 items, because if we only have 1 item, it's only going to run through the video generation node 1 time, which is not what we want. We need it to go through it 8 times and then be finished with the 8 clips in order for our workflow to properly work. So that's why we're using this code node, okay? So let's add that to ours right now. Code. And then what we're going to do is we can copy this. Again, you can just ChatGPT this. So copy that. And paste that in here. I'm going to call this unbundle scenes. Oh my gosh. Unbundle scenes. Here we go. Okay. By the way, you can also pin data so that it stays the same and it doesn't run over and over again. So if we pin that, when we click execute workflow, it's not going to restart and we're not going to lose the output story that we have in here. So if you like the story that you got, you can pin this and it will keep it throughout the workflow. So now when we click execute workflow, it's going to keep that data and just use this code node. And as you can see, so we went from 1 item to 8 items. And here is the first item. And there is actually 8 of these. So I'll show you how to use that next. So that section is completely done. Now we're going to add an HTTP request that we can request the data from the server to create the video. Okay. So let's call this make video. All right. So now that that's connected here, I'm also going to pin this to keep this data the same. And inside this node, we're going to set this up to be used with Key AI. So Key AI has a cheap API for VO3 Fast. And essentially what you're going to want to do, so key.ai, I'll leave a link for this in the description. Once you're logged in and everything, and you've added, again, you can add $5. Yeah, you can add $5 here for 1,000 credits. Each video takes about, I guess, like 600 credits, 650 credits ish, around there. And so yeah, it's not even the full $5. It's the cheapest that is available right now. So once you're on here, you're going to create your API key, create API key, copy it from there. You can see you can just click copy right here as well. And then from there, you're going to come back over to n8n. The method, we're going to make this post because we're sending to Key AI. We're sending what we need. For the authentication with that API key, we're going to go generic credential type, header auth. This is common, by the way, header auth. And then I have mine set up here already, key AI. But to add yours, just click create new credential. For the name, you're going to want to type authorization, exactly like that. And then for the value, change this to an expression so you can see it. Type bearer, the capital B, space, and then paste it in right here. Okay? It has to be in that exact order. And you can just name this key AI, hit save, and then you can just use that whenever you need to. I already have mine, so I'm just going to close that. I have mine set up here, key AI. And then from there, that's all done. Now we need to get the URL. So the URL for this one is this right here. This is the docs for key AI. So if you haven't used an API before, all of them have a documentation that you can go to find the information that you need to ping the API. So we're going to generate VO3 video, which is what we want. We're going to copy this URL and then paste that right here. We're also going to turn on send body. And then we're going to go to using JSON. And this is how we're going to specify, or this is how we're going to send the prompt and which model we're going to use. Okay. So if we come back over here to this node, copy this from ChatGPT, this is basically just telling it prompt and model. Okay. We'll come back into our node that we're making now, paste that in. And this is the expression JSON.text from the unbundle node over here. If this is undefined for you, you can just drag this in right here, this text, and that will input the scene from this node. Then what that's going to do is it's going to generate all 8 items. So we need to add a wait node, because if we don't wait and we ping the next node, which is to get the videos, they're not going to be done, and the workflow is going to basically crumble because it's not going to understand what to do. So we're going to add a wait node. Seconds. I found it took about 4 minutes, so I'll do 300 seconds for 5 minutes. You can add extra just in case you want. You can add 300 seconds. Actually, I'm going to do 1 second so we don't actually have to wait for it once it's done. But we'll do 1 second, and then we'll add another node, another HTTP request, which is going to get videos. Okay, so we sent the request to create the videos, and now we are requesting them to come back. So we're going to do get, and then for the URL, we'll come back to the AI documentation, go to get video details right here, and here is the link for that. Copy that, paste that right here. The authentication, we can go back to what we said earlier, generic, header auth, and it should be saved here, key AI, okay? Then we're going to want to go, so as you can see, this, I'm just going off of the workflow that I already built, task ID, and then we can get the task ID straight from the timer. So we'll add send query parameters. Make sure you type it exactly, task ID with a capital ID, and then we're going to have to execute the pass nodes in order to drag in the dynamic value for the task, okay? So what we're going to do right now is activate this node, which is going to ping the API. And you can check that in the logs right here, VO3. This is where you'll see the status. So let's start that node. Hopefully it's okay with there being no task ID right there. Let's execute that. Yep, there we go. All right, so now we can check key AI right here if we refresh. Go back to VO3. And there is all 8 of our videos. As you can see, they are running. So each one is 80 credits. And now we just have to wait for that. So I will come back when that's all done. Okay, so as you can see here, all of the VO3 videos are done. Now it's going to give us these temp file AI URLs, which is essentially just the video URL. And then after that, we're going to combine all these clips with the super cheap service. It's on fal.ai and it's called FFmpeg. I'll show you that. But why don't we watch one of these and see what it looks like? So I'm not sure if this is the first or the last part of the video, but all you got to do is copy that and let's check that out. Oh, it's in brackets. So you just got to take those off.
Until next time, my friend, take care of that paw.
Okay, so that's the last clip of the story. And yeah, so they're generated now. And now all that we have to do is we're going to actually run the rest of this so that it can get the videos. So let's do that right now. And then we're done with this red part right here. We can go on to combining the clips and then posting the finished video. So I'm going to pin this. This is probably the most important one to pin because you don't want it to run again and then use your credits, right? So let's execute this workflow now. And actually, I'm just going to execute this node so that we can go in here. And now we have access to the task ID. We can drag that right there. And now when we execute this step, there we go. You go to the table view over here. You can see each task ID. And the URL is now in n8n, which we're going to use for the next section. So I've just pinned these two nodes right here. And let's move on to the combine clips part. Okay. So the first step of the combine clips is, as you can see, there's the 8 items. And since we're combining them now, we need them in one singular item. Okay. Because we're running them through FFmpeg all at once. We're not trying to run through it separate times because we need to combine them together. So first, we're going to need to use another code node, the last one, no more code nodes after this, in order to turn the items back into a singular one. So let's add code here. And then for this, make sure you copy this exact JavaScript right here, because it's important to also have the title and the description in order to use later. Okay. Then we can paste that right in here. And I'll call this one item. Okay. There we go. So that's going to turn it all into one singular item. And we might as well run that right now. Okay, what's going on here? Oh, I see. Because I generated this in ChatGPT, it's referencing the old name of this agent. So the new name is StoryWriter. We just copy that name. StoryWriter. Let's give that a shot. There we go. So now we got the output. And again, guys, when there's errors like that, you can just screenshot the whole thing, put it into ChatGPT, tell it what you're trying to do, and it'll walk you through it. And there's also this Ask Assistant in the bottom right that will also help you a lot. So there we go. We got the output we needed, all the temp files, the title, and the description of our video. So I'm going to pin this again and make sure you guys save often. And so now we're going to go to fal.ai. So this is where we're going to access our FFmpeg API, okay? So fal.ai, link is in the description. Just make sure you sign up and then go to search model and search FFmpeg. Okay, and the one we need is FFmpeg API compose. Right? So once you're here, as you can see, your request will cost 0.0002 compute per second. It's basically nothing, but you still need some credits on the account. So you can go to account. Yeah, I believe it's in here. And then, oh no, sorry, it's in billing up here at the top. And then you can add an amount and have that to use. And Fal AI has a bunch of other APIs, so you'll probably end up using it in the future as well. So what we're going to do is, if you go to the API section right here, this is going to be on JavaScript by default. Just switch it to HTTP CURL, right? And this is basically where it's going to have all the information for you if you want to actually learn about why we're inputting the information into the HTTP request that we are. Okay. So let's go back to n8n and add our HTTP request to combine all the videos. HTTP request. And this is going to be post. Okay. So if we look here, we have the link and the JSON and everything. So we're going to go through that right now. So first, let's get the authentication. We're going to go generic, header auth, the same as last time. And I have my Fal AI in here already, but we're going to add, if you don't have yours, go to create new credential. The name is the same. It's going to be authorization. For the value, you're going to go into Fal AI. We're going to go to API keys. Make sure you add a key. It's going to give you the key. I think, yeah, for this one, you can only copy it once. So maybe just write it down somewhere. And then once you have that, you can bring that back into here and then switch this to expression so you can see it. And then type key space and then paste your API key right there. Okay. Hit save. Make sure everything's spelled right. All the capitalization is right. Oh, yeah, name it as well. And then hit save. And that makes things a lot easier. So the URL we're going to use is this one right here, FFmpeg API compose. Okay. So I'm just going to pop that in there. And in the API section of Fal AI, you can find this right here, as you can see. URL, there it is. It also, there's the header, right? The authorization, the key that we did. Okay. And then this is also content type, application JSON. So that's what's going to be down here. Now that we've put the URL in, let's just name this mix video. I'm trying to come up with names that aren't the ones I've already used. And then we're going to do send body JSON using JSON. And we're going to use this right here. So let's copy that. Again, screenshot, put it into ChatGPT, ask for it, and it will give you this. Okay. So send body JSON using JSON. Open that up. Paste that in there. And there it is. So as you can see, timestamp 0, duration 8. Just basically going through each clip. And if you're wondering where we got that from, you come down here to queue, submit a request. You can see tracks, ID, keyframes, URL is how we got that, right? Okie dokie. Now, let's run that node and take a look at our output. Okay, doesn't want to work. There we go. So that's executed. Now it's sent that to n8n, or sorry, Fal AI. And if you come to Fal AI, you go to Home, Recently Used Apps. If we click Requests right here, you can actually watch it load and see how long it takes. So I've done a few before. 38 seconds, 30 seconds. So it'll probably take around 30 seconds. So while that's running, let's come back and add a wait node. Wait. Call this wait, whatever. And then wait amount, you'd put in like 60 seconds in order to accommodate for the 30 seconds that it's going to take. For this, I'm just going to put in 1 so that we don't have to actually wait for it as we're doing it. And then we'll just wait for that to be done. All right, so it's done. It took 46 seconds. Now we can come back to n8n. I'm going to pin that so it doesn't run it again. And then just execute this node. And then we'll add another HTTP request to get the video that we've just made. So HTTP get video 2. method is get. And if we come back to the FFmpeg API at the top here, we can go, let's see, where is it? Q, get the result. And now you can see how we're setting this one up. Okay, so it's the same authorization key, file AI. We'll go generic, header auth, file AI. And then the URL for this one is right here. So copy all this, but leave out the request ID, okay? Because what the request ID is, paste this here. You want to change this to an expression. The request ID that we're going to put in is from the wait node right here. Request ID. Okay, so you're going to put that in right there from the previous node that we first sent, right? And then you can leave everything else in here as is. Yeah, this request ID, as you can see, it's coming right from here, request ID. So there we go. And now let's execute that node. In that, execute this node. And that will retrieve our video. Okay, so there's our video URL. And why don't we watch that? Copy that, paste that into our browser. Right, it's going to let me download it. Now let's give it a watch.
Hey there, folks. Big B here, and today I'm heading deep into my favorite part of the forest and never know what kind of adventure we'll find out here. Whoa, did you hear that? That's a wolf, and it sounds like it's in trouble. We better go check it out. There it is. Oh, beautiful gray wolf, but something's not right. Hey there, buddy. I'm not gonna hurt you. Let me see what's wrong with that paw. There we go. Just gotta get this thorn out real careful like. You're being so brave, little guy. Well, would you look at that? We're already best friends, aren't we, buddy? Go get it, buddy. Ah, look at you run. Until next time, my friend, take care of that paw.
There you go, video complete. Cool, now let's move on to the final section, which is auto post and then track all of that in a Google Sheet. So I'm gonna pin this node, move on to the final section. Okie. Now, so in the description, you can find this sheet right here. All you have to do is come to File, click Make a Copy, and it will create a copy for you that you can edit yourself. Then, what you have to do is come back into n8n, search up Google Sheets, and then you want to do Append Row in Sheet. Okay? Now, so in order to connect your credential, if you haven't already, just go to Create New Credential, and just sign in with your Google account right here. It's actually really easy. All right, so I'm already signed in. Let's go. So choose the document. Choose sheet 1. I'm going to map out each column. Okay, so we have the title, the description, status of the video, the output link, and the video number. Okay. For the video number, we're going to put in this right here, which is just equals row bracket space -1. This is just going to make sure that the numbered row is correct as it goes down. All right. Title. We're going to get the title from this code node, right? Which is this one right here. If you remember, we got the title in the description. The reason that's important is because if you try and grab it from the story writer back here, because the items changed, it doesn't, n8n doesn't understand which item to grab. That's what they say. So I have to do it with this one right here. So if we get that title, drag that in there, description, drag that in there. Status, we'll put ready. And then for final output, we can grab the video URL from the get video node before for the final output from file.ai. So, yep, this one right here. Final output. There we go. So now when we execute this step, your sheet will be empty. These were just my past two that I did. Okay. Now let's execute that. All done. As you can see here, Bigfoot makes a wolf friend. Here's a description, and the status is ready. The past two are posted. We'll go through how to actually make that happen, but the status is ready. Here's the final output if you want to download it to watch it. And there we go. So now we're going to move on to Blotato, which is a verified service to post to YouTube, because a lot of these social platforms, when you post to them with an API, you want the service you're posting with to be a verified service, because platforms don't want bots automatically posting all the time. And another tip as well is, if you're going to be automatically posting this to a new YouTube channel or a new Gmail account, at least let the account exist for at least 7 days from the time you've made it. Just act like a human on the account, watch some videos, maybe even post a few videos manually first, just so that YouTube can understand that you're a real person using the account and not a bot account. Okay? Because if you use if they think you're like a bot, they might shadow ban you. That's what I'm trying to say here. So we're going to use Blotato, which is a amazing software that you can use to post to multiple different accounts all at once. Okay? There will be a link to that in the description. And yeah, so let's move on to that node. So I'm going to pin this and actually name this track videos. Here we go. And now let's add another HTTP request. Go to Blotato. HTTP. There we go. Call this upload to B Blotato. This is going to upload it to Blotato so that Blotato can post it. Okay. So the link in the description will take you to Blotato, and I will also have the help docs down there for the API information. Okay. So once you're on Blotato, there is a free trial that you can use, but if you want to use the API, you do have to opt in, because otherwise the API will just be flooded with free trials, right? And that, if there's a bunch of bots using the API, then the social media platforms see a bunch of traffic and lose trust in the API, and then the videos don't do as well, right? Like, they can get shadow banned. So once you're logged into Blotato, come down here and click on settings, and then you have all the different platforms you can log into. So we're using YouTube. So just click login with YouTube, go through the steps, and then you'll have this. You can copy your account ID and your API access key, which we will come back to in just a second. Okay. First, what we need is we need the URL to post to. Okay. So we're going to do post URL. If we go to the Blotato help docs, which will also be linked in the description, we can come down to n8n basics, I believe. Where is it at? Sorry, API reference and upload media. Okay. So here is the base URL. Just copy that. And then don't forget the part on the end here, media. Media. And method is post, which we've already done. So now we just check this here. All we have to do is do the authentication and tell it which URL we're uploading. Okay. So it's the same thing. Again, generic credential type, header auth. I have Blotato in here already, but you'll just click create new credential. And then for this, you need to type exactly Blotato API key. Just name it Blotato. And then for the value, we'll come to Blotato over here, settings in the bottom left, and copy API key down there. Paste that in for the value, and then hit save. Here we go. And now, in order to tell it which video to upload, we're going to go to send body, name, URL for which URL. And for the value, we'll grab that from the Google Sheet final output right there. Now, give that a shot. There we go. Node executed successfully. So that has been uploaded to Blotato. So now we're going to use this link to upload to the final HTTP request in order to upload it to YouTube. So I'm going to pin this node, and then we're going to add one more, pardon me, HTTP request. Call this YT upload, and then uploader, YT upload. And then in the Blotato help docs, just above upload media, we're going to publish post. All right, so here's the URL we'll need. We're going to copy that, paste that right there. Don't forget the end part. All right, and the method is post. Okay, authentication, we've already set that up. Generic, header auth, Blotato. Then we're going to send body JSON using JSON in order to specify details about the video. Okay, so if you come into publish post and you scroll down, you can see it right here. This is all the data we put in before. And then this, for example, is for Twitter. See the text, which account ID, and the media URLs. So that's exactly what we're doing here. So I'm going to copy this, right? And then we're going to go send body using JSON. And we're going to paste that right in there. Now, feel free to screenshot this and put it into ChatGPT to get this JSON. But essentially what we're going to do now is we're going to input the data that we need. So if we go to Blotato, the first one we're going to need is our account ID. So make sure you log in with YouTube if you haven't already. And then as you can see, we can just click copy account ID. Come back over here, paste it right here into the account ID section. All right, so then everything else, I've set it to unlisted. So if you want this to actually post to your channel, you need to write right here, you need to write public. Okay? And then for the title, this is from my last workflow. So we're going to delete that. And we're going to come all the way back here to, actually, we're just going to go to Google Sheet, title. Drag that right in between there. And then this is the description. So we're going to delete that. Description, drop it right in there. Media URLs, if this hasn't aligned already, you're basically just going to grab it from the past Blotato node. It can't come from the Google Sheet. It has to come from Blotato. You'll drag that right into there. And this should be all good then. Account ID, title, description, what video to upload, and then if it's unlisted, private, or public. Okay? So, I think we can give that a shot to upload to YouTube after we add this one so that we can see it actually update in real time, okay? We're going to add another node now, Google Sheet. And in this one, we're going to do update row. Name account, sheet within document, update row. Let's go the sheet right here. Sheet 1. I'm going to map each column to match on. Title. So basically, it's going to look for the title that it used before, and it's going to use that to match which video to post, okay? Or which video to update in the sheet to posted status, right? So let's actually run this because we need that to run in order to get the input data. So let's do that right now. What's going on here? We have to unpin. Okay, you actually have to unpin this, I guess. All right, let's give that another shot. There we go. Upload successful. Okay. So before we check YouTube, let's just go back into Google Sheets here. Title using to match. We'll go to the track videos. The title of the past sheet using to match. So now it's going to look at the sheet and it's going to use that title right here. This one. It's going to see this title and it's going to go, okay, we're going to use that one and update this status. So then we're just going to go to status and do posted. And that's everything for that one. So we can pin these now so it doesn't upload again. You don't want that to happen. So let's pin those and then run that. There we go. We come back here. Now this has switched to posted to let us know that it's been completed. And we can just say date status. All right. In that, and we're all done. So let's go check on YouTube to see our video. So I'm back here on my YouTube channel, and as you can see here, it's unlisted. I haven't made it public, but we can click here. Here's the description and the title, and the thumbnails end up being pretty good just automatically. So that's cool. So as you can see, we can click right here.
Hey there, folks. Big B here, and today I'm heading deep into my favorite
And
part
there's
of the
the video that
forest,
we watched
and
earlier.
never know what kind of adventure we'll find out here. Gotta get this.
Cool. Perfect. All done. Just kidding. We're not actually done yet. We actually have to update these times, right? So this one, we'll make this 60 seconds. And this one, 300 seconds. Okay. And let's add in over here a scheduled trigger. Let's just say once a day. Yep, everything's good there. Drag that down, bring that in here. And now when we activate it up here in the top, that will go every day and just go through what we've just set up and post automatically. Just remember that you need to also change this to public as well if you want it to actually post. Okay. Also, another thing I want to add is this story writer in here. If you paste this whole thing into ChatGPT after screenshotting it, getting the text, paste it into ChatGPT, and you say, you might be able to rewrite this for a different niche as well. You just might need a little bit of human intervention to make sure it works properly, right? Because there are other niches like this one, Stormtrooper Vlogs as well. They've posted a video meeting Yeti, which is funny. So there's a whole bunch of different niches you can do, especially if you think Bigfoot might be too high competition, right? You got to be quick because it's a new trend. So there's all kinds of different vlogs that you can do to automatically post. And he's selling a product as well, as you can see. So, yes. Also, the final thing, I'm going to show you how to do the merch, how to make Bigfoot wear the merch right now. So I tested this with a Yeti, but it would work with Bigfoot as well. I just said, give me names for a Yeti starting with Y. And then I went on Google. I found a Yeti t-shirt for merch. There it is. I said, remake this shirt, but with Yondo, because that was the name I chose for my Yeti. There we go. It's on the new name's on the shirt now. Then I took a screenshot of a video that I already generated within VO, because this is where you can test your videos, is in Google Flow. Just search up Google Flow. You can test VO3 there just to see how it works. So I already had this video. I said, make this Yeti wearing the shirt, retain as much details from the original image as possible. Then it gave me this image right here, which it looks pretty dang close, with him wearing the shirt, right? Then, as you can see, the accuracy here is actually really high. Then what I did was I took that image and I used the prompt that I made the original video with, and I sent that picture, and I just said, modify this prompt to include the shirt from the image in great detail while retaining everything else. He should say, new merch out now, guys, and point to it. Then ChatGPT took the original prompt. So this is the prompt that I used to make this video that I screenshotted. Hope that makes sense. That prompt's in there. Modify the prompt with the merch image that I want, right? I took this prompt right here, and when I put that into Google VO3 right here, this is what I got.
New merch out now, guys.
Now, what you'll notice is this Yondo right here isn't actually completely accurate with what we originally had. So how I would get around that is I would screenshot this again and send this to ChatGPT. Send this to ChatGPT. And then say to ChatGPT, give me the design on this shirt with a transparent background. Then it's going to take the logo from there and give you a transparent background version of it, just like a design. Then from there, you can go to a print-on-demand service, which if you don't know what that is, it's essentially you upload designs and they just go onto shirts and they handle everything for you. And you can just set up a merch store with whatever design you want on it. And they only create the shirts when the orders come through. So you're not like paying for inventory or anything. And you'll already have the video and it will be accurate to the design that you've gotten from ChatGPT. So that's just an idea that I had. I had to try. I had to add that here because I thought that would be really valuable, especially if you've got a big loyal fan base like these other channels do with BigFoot, because this would definitely help conversions with them actually seeing it on the character. So yeah, that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. My Telegram channel is in the description. If you found this video valuable, be sure to join that to stay up to date with the latest AI content systems news, because things change very quickly. In 365 days, most of the stuff that we watch is going to be AI. So you need to be quick, because a month from now, there's going to be a better workflow than this. I'm not saying this is going to be useless, but there's just going to be a better one. And the content that's actually being produced is going to get so good that it's not going to be considered AI slop anymore. I actually wouldn't consider this AI slop. Like, there's a few errors here and there. This is the fast model. This is not like the actual VO3, but things are just going to get cheaper and better endlessly. And again, I said in the beginning of this video, you're lucky if you're here because things are going to change so quickly. So join my Telegram in the description to stay up to date. You will get notifications for these videos when they come out, so you can be the first to build them. Thank you so much for watching again, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.